Hi guys, I'm Damian Krychowski and I would like to welcome you to the sixth part of our SQL course for the beginners. Today we are going to learn about group by, but before that, let me introduce you to our platform, which is SQL Sandbox. You can find the link in the description, and you need to know that SQL Sandbox is a platform which allows you to work with SQL without effort. When you open the page and log in, you should see what I see in my screen right now. Before we can start work, we need to do two things. First, we need to scroll down, find the first exercises set, basic select, expand it, click prepare database button, confirm the operation, and after that is done, our database should be ready to work. A new customer table has been created and it has been filled in with 100 rows. When that's ready, we need to scroll up and we need to click open database button. We should see SQL editor right now. It consists of a couple of elements, which the most important one is workspace. This is the area just here, and this is the place where we are going to type in all our SQL queries. On the left side, we see a toolbox. It has a list of tables. Right now, there is only one table, customer table, and it has 100 rows inside. We are going to use that table and these rows for today, grouping by exercises. Let's start. As always, I'm going to start with very basic select query, which allows me to extract all the rows from our table. So let's try to do it. Select asterisk from customers. When I execute that, we should see the result. And I will make the workspace a little smaller. I will increase the items per page number to 50, and we see our customers. Customers are built of a couple of columns. Customer ID, first name, last name, email, country, date joined, and total orders. If we would like to find all the customers from, let's say, USA, we would need to type in a query like that. Select asterisk from customers where country is equal to USA. And to quickly remind you how this query works, let me explain it a little bit. So select asterisk is picking all the columns from the table. From customers tells the SQL engine from which table we want to extract data from. Where is a condition, so we are looking only for those records which country is equal to USA. And when we execute it, we see that there are 3 records which are matching our filter. And we can, as you remember from the previous lessons, also count the records which country is equal to USA. How can we do it? We can modify the query a little bit and use count operation. So select count asterisk from customers where country is equal to USA. And when we check that, we should see 3, which is basically correct because we have seen a minute before that there are 3 records for that country. Okay, that's really nice, but what if we would looking for something more? What if we would looking for the result which would present us a juxtaposition of count and country, so that we can see that for each country we have the exact number of records in our table. How to do it? And that's where I can introduce group by operation to you, because that's exactly why this operator was introduced. To achieve the goal we are looking for, we need to build query like that. Select, and now we are looking for count and country. So we type in count asterisk because we want to count all the records for the specific country. So we select count and we select country, and now from customer table, and here is where I introduce this group by operator. Let me show you. Group by, and now we want to group the records by the country. So I just copy the country, paste it in here, and let's try to execute it. I will highlight it, I will execute it, and we see that we got our table. So we have count and we have country, and we see that we got list of all the countries which has at least 1 record inside. So that's how we can achieve the initial goal. That's why the group by exist. As you remember from our previous lesson, SQL allows for a nice composition of different syntax and queries. So let's say that right now we want to achieve something more complicated. We would like to find the number of all the customers grouped by the countries, but only for those who has joined after the 1st of January 2021. How to do it? Maybe let's start with something simpler and maybe first try to get all the customers who joined after January 1st, 2021. How to do it? We'll use very basic select. So select asterisk from customers where, and now we need a condition to check the date joined. So date joined is greater than 2021 January the 1st. And when we execute it, we will see that we have 40 customers like that. How can we now use that for grouping? As you know, SQL can be composed from different components, and the same applies to group by query. So we can simply extend the query below with this additional where condition. Let's copy it. Let's paste it after from, because you need to know that the order of those is very important. If we would mix the order, the SQL wouldn't work. I can show it to you later on. So how does that will work? First of all, we are selecting count and country from customers table, but before we apply grouping, we are limiting the number of rows returned by the query only for those for which date joined is greater than given value. And after that, we group by the country. So now, right now, when I execute it, we should see that we got our results. And how can we actually make sure that the results we received are true? We can, for example, filter with the basic select for a given country and just check if the number is correct. So maybe let's do it for a country with the biggest number, which I see is 4. So for the UK. Let's try to find all the customers from UK who have joined after January the 1st. How can we do it? I will simply extend this query in the line number 5 with the additional condition to check the country. So, and country is equal to UK. We know that we are looking for 4 customers. So let's try to execute the query. And we see that we got 4 records, which seems to confirm our theory that the syntax put right here is correct. Okay, what else can we do? Let's try to execute our grouping query one more time. Okay, and we got a result. And let's take a look at our results. We see that there is no specific order in which the results has been returned. This is not very useful because it's very hard to find what we have, what is the biggest number, what is the smallest number. So we could tidy up those results a little bit. How to do it? We can obviously apply order by syntax to group by as well. To do it, we just need a new line in our query, and we need to specify the columns by which we want to sort. And we want to sort, let's start with count. How to do it? So we type in order by. So this is exact same way we have been sorting our select, our basic select results. So order by count, and we can specify the direction of sorting. So I would like to sort those descendingly. So I type in desk. And when I execute it, we will see that right now the orders have been sorted correctly, but we could improve it a little bit further if we would sort additionally by the country. Because right now you see that we have a big group of countries which have only 2 records, and they are mismatched. They are not given in any particular order. So maybe let's apply an alphabetical order to them, and we can achieve that by simply extending our order by query. So I need a comma because I need to specify a second column I want to apply order by. And now I will put country there, and I want them to be sorted in alphabetical order. So that's what I use. And when I execute it, we will see that right now the second step of sorting has been applied, and all the results are at first sorted by the count and then sorted by country. So this is very useful. What else can we do? We can obviously extract more useful information out of our group. For example, we could calculate sum of total orders for each customer in specific country, and we can also calculate average number of total orders for given country. How to do it? We would need to extend a list of selected things. So after count, we can pick sum of total orders, and we can pick the average of total orders. How will that work? It will work very similar way to how count is working for the groups. First, after the filter is being applied to the flat list of our customers and grouping is started, then when we have all the records grouped by the country, this operation take place. So first, number of records per each country is being calculated, then sum of all total orders from each record for the given group is being calculated, and then average of total orders within the records from a given group. Let's maybe try to execute it. And now we see that our result is a little bit more complicated because we have count, sum, average, and country. And again, we see that these values are chaotic a little bit, so we could improve our order by part of the query and maybe extend it with sum of total orders after the count, and maybe also ascendingly. And when we would try to execute this query now, we see that it's a little bit better. Okay, what can we do else with our group by? So right now we are able to extract all the groups from the results. But what if we would like to apply some conditions but on the results within given group? We could not use where for that because where is being applied before the grouping takes place, but there is a special syntax which allows exactly that, and this is having keyword. Let's see. After group by, and this is very important, we have to use having after group by. We type in having, and after that we can specify a list of conditions which then will be applied against groups. So for example, we could find all the groups which sum of total numbers is greater than 10. How to do it? We are doing that exactly the same as for the conditions in the where query. So I will copy sum of total orders, I will paste it in, and then I will set a condition. So sum of total orders should be greater than 10. And when I execute query like that, we see that right now the result set got limited only to 4 records which match our filter. So all those records have total orders greater than 10. And we obviously can specify more conditions, not only one. So for example, we could extend the list of conditions for the having keyword and maybe also narrow it down only to those results which average of total orders is smaller than 6. And it should be really easy as well. I just copy average of total orders and specify the conditions, so it should be less than 6. When I execute it, we should see that we got our result further down limited only to 3 records. And one last thing, maybe as you remember from the previous lessons where we use order by, but on the basic selects, we could also apply 2 additional keywords, limit and offset. And limit allows us to pick only a limited number of sets, while offset allows us to skip some records. So let's say that we would like to pick only the second record out of our result. How can we do it? We can obviously extend our query, which is already quite long, a little bit further and type in limit 1 because we want to take only 1 record, but we want to skip the first record on the list. So I will add offset 1. So we should skip the first record and we should get only the record for the South Korea. Let's try to execute it. And we see that it worked. So we have composed quite a complicated SQL query already. Good job. And maybe as a last thing in this episode, I will show you, as promised, what would happen if we would put those keywords in a wrong order. So for example, I would put having not just after group by, but after order by. What would happen then? Let's try to execute query like this. And we see that we got syntax error, so something like that is not allowed. We just need to remember that SQL requires us to build queries in a given structure. So first we need to have select, then we need to specify from which table we want to pick data, then where conditions, which is being applied on the flat records, then the grouping, then the having conditions on the group, and the last thing is order with limit and offset. This is how it works. We just need to obey these rules and then everything should work just fine. I hope you liked this episode. As always, I strongly encourage you to practice. If you don't have any ideas for what queries you could try to build, you can always use our smart assistant, open it and ask it, hey, prepare me 10 exercises where I could use group by. You need to know that the smart assistant has access to your database structure so that it knows that you have customized table and it has these columns. It kind of understands it, and then based on that, he can give you 10 exercises or however you will ask him to prepare. I hope you like it. See you in the next episode. Bye bye.